Real estate has been about to do something for so long now that people aren't even sure what they're waiting for anymore. It's like standing at a crosswalk where the light never changes, so everyone just keeps pretending like they're meant to stand there. If you're new here, I'm Chad with Haven Real Estate. Please subscribe if you would like calm explanations over panic headlines and context instead of noise. All right, let's talk about real estate in 2026. But to look forward, we need to take a look back. Here's the honest truth. Real estate hasn't felt normal for a while now. Not easy, not predictable, not even confusing in a fun way. It's been exhausting. Rates jumped, prices jumped, then rates jumped again. Every article you read feels urgent, but none of them actually agree on what you're supposed to do. One says buy now or you're doomed. The next says wait or you're an idiot. And somehow both sound very confident. It's like asking 5 people how to cook the same recipe and all of them yelling different temperatures at you while the oven's already on fire. People aren't confused because they don't care. They're confused because they've been paying attention for too long. Let me tell you what I mean. Most people aren't panicking right now. Panic is loud. This is quieter than that. This is fatigue. This is second guessing. This is fear of making a decision that follows you around for the next decade like a bad haircut and old photos. They don't want to buy and feel stupid later. They don't want to wait and feel like they missed again. So they pause. And pausing feels responsible, feels mature, feels like saying, I'm being smart right now, while secretly, they're hoping clarity magically shows up. But if you pause for too long, it stops being strategy and it starts being avoidance. And that's where a lot of people get stuck. And eventually, real estate conversations end in the same exact place. Yeah. But what if this is another 2008? So let's actually talk about 2008. Not the vibe, not the mechanics. 2008 wasn't just prices going down. It was rates being high. It wasn't people feeling nervous. It was a credit collapse. Loans were being handed out to people who couldn't verify income, couldn't verify assets, and sometimes couldn't afford the payment once the loan reset. Adjustable rate mortgages were everywhere. Equity was thin, speculation was normal. Owning multiple properties with almost zero money down was treated like a personality trait. When prices stopped rising, the system didn't slow down. It snapped. People didn't decide to sell. They were forced to sell. Payments jumped, loans reset, inventory flooded the market all at once. Prices didn't fall first and caused the crash. The credit collapse caused forced selling, and forced selling caused prices to fall. That order matters. Now, to be fair, some things today feel similar. Affordability feels stretched. Rates move fast. Buyers feel nervous. Headlines are dramatic. That part is real. But here's where the comparison breaks down. Today, lending standards are dramatically tighter. Most mortgages are fixed rate. Homeowners have record levels of equity. Very few people are forced to sell. And inventory is constrained, not flooded. In 2008, people were over-leveraged and underqualified. Today, most homeowners are under-leveraged and locked in. That doesn't mean there's no risk. It means it's a different kind of risk. And treating every uncomfortable market like it's 2008 is how fear takes over the conversation. Now zoom out, and I mean really zoom out. When you look at a 10-year home price chart, what you don't see is chaos. You see growth with pauses. Slow years, faster years. Corrections that feel scary when you're inside them, but barely noticeable once you step back. Through elections, rate cycles, pandemics, and whatever else the internet is yelling about that year, housing moved upward over time. Why? Because housing isn't a trade for most people. It's tied to life, jobs, families, stability, and shelter. Here's the grounding truth that almost no one says out loud anymore. If you stay in a home long enough, historically, you don't lose. You might feel uncomfortable at times. You might question your timing. You might wish you waited 6 months or bought 6 months earlier. But time absorbs volatility in a way precision never will. Now, let's talk about the last 5 years, because this is where people get emotionally wrecked. The last 5 years were not normal housing behavior. This was stimulus, ultra-low rates, emotional buying, bidding wars, and the sudden rate shock. That spike wasn't organic growth. It was pressure. So when people look at today and say, everything feels broken, What they're really doing is comparing reality to a once-in-a-generation distortion. That's like judging your current energy levels based on the year you lived off caffeine and somehow survived. Of course, normal feels wrong afterward. Over the last year, prices didn't collapse. They flattened. Some markets dipped a little, some held steady, some grew. What disappeared wasn't value, it was urgency. Negotiations came back. Expectations adjusted. The market slowed down enough for thinking to re-enter the room. Normalization feels uncomfortable when you've been living in extremes, but uncomfortable doesn't automatically mean dangerous. Okay, 2026. This is the part where people want to feel certain. A clean answer. Up or down, good or bad, buy or don't buy, sell or don't sell. That's understandable. After years of whiplash, certainty feels like safety. But that's not how real markets work. 2026 is more likely to feel quieter than the last few years, and that quiet may feel unsettling at first. No free money, no bidding frenzies, no panic spikes, just a market that moves slowly enough that decisions require thought again. For many people, that's harder than chaos. Chaos gives you permission to react. A calmer market asks that you think, plan, and own the decision. If things go well, rates ease gradually, inventory improves in small steps, confidence returns over time, and the prices move modestly. Not exciting, not dramatic, but functional. A market where thoughtful decisions age well. If things are harder, rates stay higher for longer. Affordability remains tight and mistakes become less forgiving. Not a collapse, not a crash, just a market that demands intention instead of impulse. In both cases, the market isn't deciding your future, and it isn't setting your timeline. The idea of a perfect market is mostly a distraction. There is rarely a moment when everything lines up neatly on paper. Rates, prices, and inventory are always in motion. The only time you actually control is your own. And here's the thing that no one wants to hear. The best time to buy isn't when the market feels perfect. It's when your life is ready, when your job feels stable, when your timeline makes sense, when your cash reserve gives you a little breathing room, when your payment fits without panic, when the decision reduces stress instead of adding to it. 2026 is unlikely to reward urgency or punish patience. It will reward clarity. The people who do the best won't be the ones who guessed the market correctly. They'll be the ones who understood their own situation well enough to act with confidence, especially when it's the right time for their life. The market isn't grading your decision later. It's not keeping score. It's just the environment you're moving through. So overall, fear reacts to headlines. Wisdom builds frameworks. Fear waits for perfect clarity. Wisdom accepts trade-offs. Fear asks, what if this is the worst time? Wisdom says, does this make sense for my life? The goal isn't to beat the market. It's to stop letting fear run the clock on your future. Okay, if this helped you, please subscribe. I'm Chad with Haven Real Estate, and this is From Production to Properties, signing off.